You didn't think I was going to let you out of here without a sermon, right? But don't worry, it's short. What if you believed you had superpowers? Not knowing that your fairy godmother's wand wasn't working, you confidently go into the world to make a difference. And you do, because you know you can. When I joined all of you here at Tree of Life in August of 2020, I spoke to you about Hosea Blue. And lately, I've been thinking about him again. It's been a little bit, and we have a few new people who have joined us since then. So I'm going to start with a recap of the basics of who he was. Hosea Blue was a Universalist minister in the early 1800s. Universalism was a popular Christian movement that stood in contrast to Calvinism. The Calvinists taught that people were born depraved. They contained sin in every part of their being. They also thought that those who were going to heaven had already been chosen by God, and they didn't have any choice about it and couldn't change anything. Thus, Christ's death on the cross was only for the purpose of saving those who had already been chosen. If you hadn't been, there was nothing you could do about it. Our spiritual ancestors, the Universalists, believed differently. And Hosea Blue spread the Universalist message. As a circuit rider, he traveled on horseback and preached and ministered at many different churches rather than staying in one place for long periods of time. Maybe that's why I've been thinking about him. A popular story about him says, one night he stopped at a New England farmhouse, and the farmer was upset. He confided to Blue that his son was a terror who got drunk in village every night, who fooled around with women, and the farmer was afraid his son would go to hell. All right, said Blue with a serious face. We'll find a place on the path where your son will be coming home drunk. We'll build a big fire, and when he comes home, we'll grab him and throw him into it. The farmer was shocked. But that's my son, and I love him. And Blue said, if you, a human and imperfect father, love your son so much you wouldn't throw him into the fire, how can you possibly believe that God would do so? That is the core of the Universalist message that informs our faith as Unitarian Universalists today. It is the basis of our first principle that we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people, refusing to damn or condemn anyone. But Hosea Blue offered us another legacy that is relevant today. He started preaching and teaching in 1791, and it was in 1794 at the New England General Convention when he was sharing a pulpit with a preacher named Elihan Winchester and Jacob Young that Reverend Winchester, without warning, at the end of his sermon, pressed his Bible into Blue's chest and cried out, "Brother Blue, I press to your heart the written Jehovah." And thus he declared Blue ordained. Imagine that. I'll tell you, it took a lot more steps for me to get ordained. But imagine you're just doing your thing, being part of a regular worship service, and suddenly the preacher declares you ordained. Don't worry, I'm not plotting anything, Jesse. But this surprise ordination that Blue experienced is a reflection of the truth that we Unitarian Universalists hold dear. The truth that we are all called to ministry. We are all called to co-create this beloved community together. Even when a new minister joins you in August, it will continue to be up to all of you to build this community together, to call it into a future as a beacon in our county. Today, as others have mentioned, is Commitment Sunday. It is the formal end of our pledge campaign, the time of year when we think about why this congregation matters to us and our community. when we think about what it is at Tree of Life that inspires us to step into action and connection. And if you haven't had a chance to turn in your pledge, you can do it online or fill out a form that can be found next to that box we've been talking about in the social hall. Trust me, you will know what we mean. You also have the opportunity to celebrate your power in our community by committing to share some of your time and talent with Tree of Life over the next year. You should have received one of the yellow commitment forms when you came in today, and if you haven't, Patrick has them. It has something for everyone, from being a committee member, to bringing a friend to service, to reviewing us on Google. You've heard from Janet, Steve, and Heather about ways you can use your power with their various groups. And like Amelia, you have the power to make positive change. Find at least one thing on the form that you can do and turn it in, even if you're a board member or have been here for 20 years. Commit to responding to the call of ministry that is on all of us. My beloved spiritual companions, may we step into our power and our call. May we offer our time, talent, and treasure to support and grow this beloved community and to help it make a positive difference in our world. May it be so. Amen. I want to invite you now to